"We've got your son. Give us $1 million or he dies." This statement became a familiar phrase throughout the career of a former chief international hostage negotiator of the FBI, Chris Voss, where he worked tirelessly with his team to rescue victims unhurt and developing techniques that worked and still do today. Chris Voss' career as a kidnapping negotiator brought him face to face with bank robbers, gang leaders, and terrorists, thus building him a portfolio of rich experiences. He explained that the techniques used by the FBI were developed over many years, a product of experiential learning, negotiating through crises, and sharing stories of what succeeded and what failed. Hello and welcome to the Worldly Club. Here we talk about money, mindset, and motivation. The best things of life are explored, enjoyed, and showcased here. Click the subscribe button to join the Worldly Club now. Through what Chris Voss called tactical empathy, hostage victims were saved unhurt without paying any ransom. If you had imagined that these negotiators had their victories by relying on sophisticated weapons and cutting-edge technology alone, you weren't alone. We imagined the same, but sadly, with less of that and more of proper communication and psychology. It's about mastering how human brains work and what the other side wants in a negotiation, together with good and attentive listening ears. Tactical empathy includes a series of techniques that use compassion and a few psychological tricks like mirroring, loss aversion, accusation audit, labeling emotion, and more, to understand what the other person in any conflict actually wants and to steer the negotiation to where you want it to go. It strives to deeply understand how the other person is feeling and what is driving them. Understanding that person is not the same as agreeing with them or feeling sorry for them. That's sympathy. You want empathy because in understanding what's driving them, you will be far better at negotiating with them. In his book, Never Split the Difference, Chris began each chapter with a real-life example taken from his well of experiences in hostage negotiations. Warning: many of these cases were brutal, and oftentimes people were hurt or even killed. After the real case is presented, the author then explains what negotiating techniques were used, what worked, and what didn't. At the end of each chapter, there is a nice wrap-up of the key lessons learned. Here are the most important lessons we believe are relevant to your everyday negotiations. Whether you want to smooth out rough conversations with a spouse or a family member, convince an unyielding colleague, or ask for a raise at work, the principles are the same. Number 1. No enemy in sight. In a negotiation, the other party is not your enemy, not even in a hostage negotiation, let alone when you're negotiating salaries. The only enemy is the situation at hand. The other person you're negotiating with is your partner in navigating the situation. Number 2. Focus on emotions. Every person is driven by several emotions when negotiating. A few are the need to feel safe, the need to feel in control, and the need to be understood. Your goal in a negotiation is to gather as much information as possible to best meet these needs. Number 3. Have different voices. There are 3 voices you typically want to use in a negotiation. The first voice, and the one you should use by default, is your positive, playful voice. This is the voice of an easygoing, good-natured person that is usually light and encouraging, relaxing, and full of smiles. The second is a late-night radio DJ voice. It is low, smooth, and calm, and shows that you are relaxed and confident because you are in control. And the third voice is the direct, assertive voice. Similar to those of a drill sergeant, you rarely use this one except in extreme cases. The number 4 lesson is mirror the other person. Always repeat back to the person the last thing they said, or the most important few words in their last sentences, but use voice intonation to emphasize that you want them to expand on that topic, that you are seeking clarification. It gets them to do more talking and feel heard, but gives you more information. Number 5. Label emotions. Give names to the emotions the other person is expressing. Use the phrases "it seems like," "it sounds like," and "it looks like" in your negotiation. For example, "It seems like you feel cheated. After providing this label, go silent." This prompts the other person to respond. Either they will agree, "Yeah, that's exactly it," or they will correct you, "I'm not feeling cheated, I am." In which case, you will understand them better. Number 6. Loss aversion. Convince the other side that they have something to lose if they don't come to terms with you, and not only something to win if they do agree with you. Humans are loss averse, fearing loss significantly more than valuing wins, so showing them what they lose can often be a bigger motivator than showing them what they gain. Number 7. Call out the negative. List all the other person's charges against you upfront. Call out all their fears, grievances, and problems. Acknowledge them, respond to them, and then invite the other person to add to the list. Then listen and don't judge. Instead, as the person adds other items, label each negative emotion, acknowledge it, and find a way to turn it into something positive. For example, "It seems like you're concerned because of XYZ. These are 1, 2, 3 reasons why you shouldn't." Get the barriers that block progress into the open as soon as possible so you can deal with them proactively. Number 8. Argue right. First, figure out your maximum price. Then, begin your bidding at around 65% of your maximum price. Then go to 85% and 95% and 100% respectively. For example, if your maximum price is $100, start bidding at $65, then $85, then $95, and lastly $100. The first jump seems big, and each jump after that looks smaller and smaller to make it feel like you're approaching your absolute ceiling and you can't pay more than that. Other times, you can use non-round numbers. Instead of offering $500, offer $512.32, as it makes it seem like you did an exact calculation and that's truly your ceiling. No more, no less. Also, as the make counter offers, use calibrated questions to have the other person bid against themselves. "Thank you for your generous offer. I wish I could, but I just can't do that. How could I?" The next lesson is, don't be afraid of no. No is the start of a negotiation, not the end of it. People want the power to say no. That is autonomy. Give them that power. Instead of avoiding no at all costs, try to look for a way to get an early no to make the other person feel comfortable and in control. Could be as simple as saying, "Well, do you want this project to fail?" Another one is asking, "Have you given up on this project?" Sometimes you want to intentionally get someone to say no just to bring them into the conversation. The 10th lesson is, always look forward to a "that's right" moment from the other person. If you can get them to say "that's right," it means you finally understood them and they know it. One way to get that is to present a summary of what you understand to be that person's goal, needs, position in the discussion. If you get it right, the person will agree, and they will agree with you without feeling like they are giving in. Note that while "that's right" is very valuable in negotiation, "you are right" is often a disaster. Never forget, it's not about you, it's about them and their needs if you want to win the negotiation. Never Split the Difference is a very practical, easy to read book on the various psychological tricks and techniques you can use in persuading people to see things your way. With these points listed, you would agree that your negotiation will be 10 times better when you go to negotiate knowing that no enemy in sight, focus on emotion, have different voices, mirror the other person, label emotions, loss aversion, call out the negative, argue right, don't be afraid of no, and look for a "that's right" moment. That's all for today. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button to encourage us to make more similar videos. If you would love us to review a book or two, please share in the comments. Click the subscribe button now to join the Wordy Club. See you next time.